Was it love? Levi and Petra. A bond lost in blood. What makes the connection between Levi and Petra so compelling is precisely its ambiguity. It's never named, it's never explained, and yet it lingers. Like the scent of blood on Levi's cloak, or the ghost of a smile Petra might have given him in quieter days. It's a bond defined not by what was said, but by what wasn't. And in that silence, 1,000 emotions took root. To understand the depth of what may have been between them, we need to look beyond that one fateful mission, and into the structure of the squad itself. Petra wasn't just a soldier, she was handpicked by Levi. He chose her, along with Oluo, Eld, and Gunther, to form a team that could function with almost instinctive coordination. It wasn't just about skill, it was about trust. Levi, who trusts almost no one, put his life in Petra's hands, and she, in turn, gave herself completely to his command. One of the most telling details is Petra's behavior in battle. She moves with precision, confidence, and unwavering focus. But her eyes are always watching Levi. Her actions are calibrated to complement his. In every maneuver, there's an underlying belief: he won't let us die. It's a belief born of faith, but also of something deeper. Perhaps admiration that had quietly turned into affection. And this wasn't one-sided admiration. Levi noticed Petra too, not in the way that involves longing gazes or blushes. That's not who he is. But in his command decisions, in his rare glances toward her during briefings, and most of all, in his choice to carry her body back. Of all the fallen in the forest, Petra is the one he lifts in his arms. Bruised, broken, lifeless, but carried with care. It's a moment that speaks volumes. It's easy to overlook in the chaos, but Levi's decision is profoundly intimate. A battlefield isn't the place for sentiment. Bodies are usually left behind, but not hers. He carries Petra like something fragile, as if in doing so he can preserve what little remains of her. Not just flesh and blood, but the memory of who she was. And then there's Petra's father. His words are almost unbearable to hear. He talks of how Petra wrote home about Levi constantly, that she was proud to serve under him, that maybe, just maybe, she had hoped for something more. He even speaks of the possibility of marriage, his voice full of misplaced optimism. He doesn't know. He doesn't see the blood, the grief, the unbearable weight on Levi's shoulders. And Levi doesn't correct him. He stands still, his eyes hard but unreadable, his lips sealed. Because what could he say? That Petra is dead? That she died screaming, crushed and discarded by a merciless enemy? That she loved a man who could never afford to love her back? Or worse, that maybe deep down, he did love her, in some small, guarded way. Levi's silence is perhaps the most devastating answer. He lets Petra's father speak, allows him the comfort of illusion. In that moment, Levi chooses to bear the pain alone. And it's not the first time. Because for Levi, loss is a language he speaks fluently. He has lost more than most. His mother, his childhood, his comrades, his mentor. Every person who has ever reached close to his heart has been taken by the cruel hand of war. Petra was just another on a long list. But perhaps she was also the tipping point. The moment he began to feel the full weight of command, not just in blood, but in regret. After Petra's death, Levi changes. He becomes even colder, more ruthless in battle, more focused on results than relationships. His heart builds walls where there were already gates. But now we understand why. Because every bond is a risk. Every connection is a potential wound. Petra was a wound that never closed. Some fans speculate that Petra might have written a final letter to Levi, one never shown on screen. Others theorize that Levi kept something of hers, a pendant, a letter, a scrap of cloth. While canon never confirms these ideas, the fact that so many fans believe in them speaks volumes about the emotional resonance of their connection. And maybe that's the point. In Attack on Titan, not all love is spoken aloud. Not all grief is wept. The world Hajime Isayama created is one where emotions must often be buried to survive. But just because something isn't said doesn't mean it's not real. The strength of Levi and Petra's story is that it lives in the margins, in the glances, the silences, the aftermath. It's not about grand declarations. It's about subtle acts of care, Petra's loyalty, Levi's protection, the letter she never sent, the words he never said. The love that could have been, but never had the chance. In another timeline, perhaps Levi would have found peace. Maybe he and Petra would have survived the war, laid down their blades, and built something fragile and beautiful from the ashes. Maybe her father's hopes wouldn't have sounded so tragically naive. But not in this world. Not in Attack on Titan. Here, love is often a shadow behind grief. A whisper between screams. A bond forged not in time, but in sacrifice. And that's what makes their story unforgettable. Petra's death didn't just scar Levi. It changed him. It reminded him that even the strongest soldier can't protect everyone. That even inhuman skill and cold logic cannot shield you from the cruelty of fate. And perhaps, deep down, that's why Levi became so committed to Erwin's cause. Why he followed Hang, protected Eren, and continued to fight long after his body was broken. He had no choice. Because to stop would be to let Petra's death mean nothing. To let her sacrifice fade into the fog of war. Instead, Levi carried her with him. Not just her memory, but the weight of what might have been. Was it love? Yes, in a way only Attack on Titan could portray. Not love in the romanticized sense, not kisses in the rain or shared sunsets, but love buried beneath duty. Love sharpened by war. Love cut short by violence. Love as pain and purpose and silence. And perhaps that is the most honest kind of love this world can offer.